Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our awards presentation for the 2022 Spring Online Juried Show for American Women Artists. I'm Sandra Harris. I'm Executive Director, joined by Christine Drewyer, our Board President and Master Signature Member. Hi, Christine.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
So what we wanted to do, in case you're new to AWA, just give you a little bit of background before we dive in. So AWA is a nonprofit dedicated to the inspiration, celebration, and encouragement of women in the visual fine arts. Started over 30 years ago by a group of women in the Southwest who wanted to have women-only exhibitions and get attention for their work and their professionalism that they were seeing a lot of their male counterparts in Western art in particular receive. And they had their first show at Tucson Museum of Art, who stepped up and did an all-woman show. First president, Star York, many of you probably know her incredible work. The first juried show was in 1997, and we've been a nonprofit since '98. And our heritage circle, some of whom you see in that photo, are just this group of women who had this vision and understood where they wanted to take it. And when you're starting out, it's just roll up your sleeves, and they volunteered so much time and effort and resources, and we're forever grateful for that. So long, great history.
I'd like to take a moment talking about rolling up your sleeves and contributing to thank our board of directors. And they are myself, Christine Drewyer, Lisa Gleim, who is our vice president and secretary, Jean Rivas, our treasurer, Mary Ann Cherry, Sandy Delahanty, Jan Haynes Gilmore, Janet Lee, Diana Reuter Twining, our immediate past president, and Gladys Roldan de Morris. They bring a plethora of talents, skills, dedication, and incredible time, more time than I think they ever imagined they would be dedicating to help us to guide and advise this wonderful group. So we thank you for your efforts, and they're very gracious with their donations and their assistance as well. Thank you, board.
Thank you. And of course, like all nonprofits, we rely on the generosity not only of our board and their work, but our patrons who give donations. So you're seeing us give cash awards today. That would not be possible without the donations. And it's this great mixture of individuals, families, galleries that support our work, as well as vendors who give sometimes cash donations, but also the merchandise that we're able to give away. We are unable to do it. So a big thank you to everyone who is so generous to us all the time.
We have several member categories here. We are a tiered group, and the categories begin with associate members, which are our largest group of membership. And then we have associates with distinction, and they are the ones that are juried into at least one show, and signature members who have been juried into 3 separate shows, and then our master signature level, which is an invitational level that have proven their worth in many different areas of expertise. So they identify as women who draw, paint, or sculpt. They're 18 years of age and up, and they are living and working in the United States and Canada. So we are grateful for our members, and we celebrate you today.
Another initiative that's important to AWA that we want to make sure we mention is the 25 and 25 initiative, which was launched in 2017. Leadership at that time, again, recognized there were not a lot of museum shows in particular that featured exclusively women artists. And so the goal was set that AWA would provide the opportunity for its members to have 25 museum shows in 25 years. And I'm proud to say we have 6 under our belts, 2 more scheduled. So we are well on our way to meeting that goal. And again, it's just to help draw attention to women artists as a group, and to bring some balance. We've seen lots of shows that are exclusively men, a lot of shows that are mixed, but we want to really focus on those all women shows. And speaking of shows, our current show is in Tennessee at Customs House Museum and Cultural Center. Just a great partnership. The show's been up since March. If you haven't seen it and you can get to Tennessee by the end of the month, we hope you will. If not, you can still see that on our website, the virtual exhibition. The awards presentation, which we did for that exhibition, is on our YouTube channel. We were privileged to give away over $45,000 in cash and merchandise, and Ellen Buselli was the grand prize winner for Customs House. So it's been a great experience. We're sad to see it coming to an end. And thank you to everybody who has been part of that show.
Well, in conjunction with our museum shows and national shows, we have in 2017 begun our Spring Online Juried Shows. And there have been over 9,500 works entered since 2017. And 979 works were entered in 2022. Only 136 pieces were chosen for this exhibition, and a unique panel of jurors is chosen for each show. They do not see the artist's name, so it is a blind jury, and each work is scored independently by each of these jurors, and they are averaged across the jurors. And then jurying applies towards advancement in the categories of membership that we have. So these have become very important to our members, and we're very proud of the Spring Online Juried Shows. This is the first time that we have had the category for signatures and masters to be involved in our online shows as well. So big thank you to Sandra for helping to organize that and manage it. No easy feat.
And since it is a juried show, we want to give special thanks to our jurors for this show. Sarah, Gabriella, who goes by Gabby, and Kim come from just this incredible professional background. So Sarah comes from mainly a commercial gallery background and has been doing that for decades. So she has this eye for what collectors might be thinking about. And it's a broad range from old masters to contemporary works. So she's really keeping her fingers on the pulse of what collectors might be thinking about, and has seen so much art in her years. Gabby is so interesting, grew up in Mexico, started out in architecture, and then moved into art, but grew up around museums, grew up in a family that collected Latin American art, and she turned that into a career. She worked in museums in Texas, curating Latin American collections, doing exhibitions. And now she's on her own as a consultant and curator of Latin American art, has done just some incredible exhibitions, including a Frida Kahlo, which I'm partial to. So she has this great international perspective and an eye for deeply rooted cultural art, and understands museum considerations and curatorial considerations. And finally, Kim has had just such an interesting career. Right now, she works for Hyatt Hotels in a corporate culture and community role. And prior to that, worked in museums for decades. And so she's been a curator, an educator, an exhibitions manager, also managed the public art and art programming for an entire University of California campus. So she has come and seen art through so many lenses: the community aspect, the technical quality that you're looking for in an exhibition, as well as the idea of thinking of a show in its entirety. So the three of these women are just a spectacular group, and we thank them. And I just thought I'd share very quickly a couple of quotes. What we hear consistently from our jurors is how impressed they are when they see, it's no small feat to look at over 900 works. And they do it so thoughtfully, but consistently. They say how much they enjoy it, how impressed they are by the quality, and how much they support AWA, and they're excited to be part of it. So I just want to thank them for their kind words. I know that Gabby said that she absolutely loved the process, loved it, and was so energized by seeing all of this work. And I think we all feel that same way. So thank you again to our jurors. It's not an easy job.
No.
And of course, we need to talk about our sponsors. We're able to give cash awards away today, as you will see. And this is a list of folks who gave us gifts that were dedicated for just the Spring Online show. And you'll notice AWA board member pops up a lot, signature members. So we have this membership that serves in so many capacities. as well as being professional artists, and give of their time and resources. And we can't pass that first line of anonymous. We have a lot of people who give us money and say, I don't need my name listed. I don't want my name listed. I'm giving you the money. So those of you who know who you are, we thank you. And they're always part of our generous group of sponsors. So thank you for that. And then our merchandise donors, as I mentioned, today we're giving away over $25,000 in cash and prizes for this show. And these are vendors who care about what AWA does. As you can imagine, they get requests from thousands of organizations. And the fact that they choose us speaks a lot about AWA, and they care about what we do. We have a board member and a master signature member, Sandy Delahunty, who puts so much time and effort into helping secure these and ask for these donations. So we're very grateful for these as well. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
On with the awards. So our first category are awards of merit, and we're doing four awards at $100 plus donated merchandise. These were not set ahead of time as far as category or media, and they gave some flexibility to find pieces that maybe weren't in some of the other categories, but we want them to be recognized as well. So these were very high scoring pieces, and it turned out that these are the four categories that they're in. So our first one is Award of Merit for Still Life, and it's by Ann Harkness, who is a signature member from North Carolina. It's entitled Apricot Persuasion. It's an oil. It's a large piece at 50 by 50. And I am thrilled to talk about this for a minute. There's so much to say when you think about her background. When you read her bio, she comes from a graphics background, and you can really see that influence. There's this great symmetry and the stark lines that occur, but at the same time, her ability to play with light and color, and to take something that you might walk by if you're, walking through an office or in someone's home, and you might not notice it right away, but to take that focus on it, look for those multiple shades of gray, and the apricot coming in with in sort of two spots to kind of play off of that, as well as the gold. If you look at the legs, it is just incredible to me. And the more I look at it, there are more angles, more shadows, more color treatments. And I absolutely understand why this was such a high scoring piece. I would love to see it in person, especially at that size. So congratulations, Anne. It's a gorgeous work.
It is a gorgeous work. I wanted to build a room around it.
Yes.
Well, this is the Award of Merit for Watercolor. This is Chris Kaprinski, who is a signature member from Ohio, and it is called A Touch of Light, a 30 by 22. This was one of my personal favorites as well. I am in Tuscany. I am ready for an afternoon of siesta, and here's this luscious presentation of fruits and textures and porcelain that is painted, the attention to detail with such an unforgiving medium. You put it down and it is there. So I am so impressed with her skill level. Chris has won many awards. She's a member of many of the watercolor societies, including our American Women Artists. So we're very proud of her accomplishments across the board. But she has a touch of light is quite aptly named, because you see the reflected light, you see the shadows are a big part of this, the textures. I have one of those cloths. I know it looks exactly like that. I even see the USB sticker on and the little split on the other plum. It's luscious, but it's realistic. It just invites you in. The more I look at it, the more I see in it. And I want to go back to Tuscany every time I look at it. So Chris, what a beautiful job. Congratulations. So well deserved.
Gorgeous. Our next award of merit is an abstract work by Jaya King, who's an associate with distinction member in California. It's entitled White Sky 1, acrylic 40 by 40, another larger piece. I have great love for abstract and surreal works, so I'd love to see a piece like this be recognized. And it's called White Sky, but white is not prominent depending on your mood when you look at it. And that's what I love about abstract. If I tell my mind to look for the blue, it's there. If I look for the gray, it's there. Black is there. If I want to see a little bit of a red or an orange, and you can decide for yourself, is this rain about to happen? Is it rain moving out? Is it not rain at all? Is that a body of water? Is there a person there? All of those questions that you can dive into. And when you see this photo at a higher resolution and larger, you can see the texture. And reading a bit about her work, she really does love to play with texture. She uses hot wax sometimes mixed with acrylic and likes to play with that. And you can see some of the dripping here with the acrylic treatment. I just think it's gorgeous. And you can tell that she likes to play with it. Looking at her bio, she does mural work and works in pieces like this and in galleries and teaches. So she really comes at this thoughtfully. And I think that shines through in a piece like this. So thank you for this work. I'm going to continue to look at it, and I would love, this is another one, I would love to see it at 40 by 40, because I can only imagine how the colors and the textures play at that size. So congratulations. And the next one is an award of merit for figurative. And this is Daniela Wernick, who's a signature member out of Texas, entitled Keepsake, Watercolor on Clay Panel, 18 by 24. As Christine mentioned earlier, watercolor is not forgiving, and you add clay into the mix and it's even less forgiving. It is there, it is in, and you're not going anywhere with that. So the fact that she's able to layer so many incredible colors with watercolor and on clay really speaks to her skill level as a self-trained artist, by the way. So I love that about her. When you look at this piece, there's so many things to pull apart about it. First, if you start in the background, you have those birds that are flying away and the colors of the sky and the clouds and the water. But then our subject is just this mix of, yes, you could say there's some stereotypical feminine innocence. She's wearing pink, there's a bow, but at the same time, you know, we noticed her hair could be Princess Leia, right? And she has this resolution on her face that this is a keepsake, which is the title, and she has her arms wrapped around the bird, and it's almost this expression of, yes, I'm keeping it. And there you are. So there's just this great stare right at you. At the same time, her hands are soft. She's not trapping this bird, she's holding it. And it looks like it's okay with it. But then when you look at these colors and these layers, and again, being watercolor on clay panel, to have that feathered look, to have the tones of her skin, and all of the mixture with the background and the foreground. It's just an incredible work. And I understand why it scored so highly. So congratulations, Daniela.
Well deserved.
So if we were all together, we would all clap. Congratulations to all of the awards of merit winners. Just an incredible array. Our next category, I will introduce, and then Christine will take over, the AWA President's Awards. So Christine, who is our president and a master signature member, gives a donation and chooses. And this time she's choosing an associate work and a master signature work for her donations. And I will let her talk about those.
It is a great pleasure to help with recognition with my fellow artists. And I'm very proud this year to announce the President's Award for Associate Membership of Nicole Finger, and she's from Colorado. And I could not stop looking at this piece. I have kids and grandkids, and the first thing that strikes me is I feel like I want to put sunglasses on. She has captured this amazing sense of light. I feel the glare, I can smell the air. her amazing attention to detail. I want to dive into each little quilted square on the jacket and see how she's treated that. The reflections, of course, it's a relatively monochromatic piece until you, of course, get to those extraordinary contemporary sunglasses. You don't see the eyes of the subject, but you don't need to. I don't know if this is a young man or a young woman. It looks like a young man to me, but could be either. There's a smugness and a confidence that you only get with youth that, yeah, I'm going to race down that hill, big deal. That's freedom. They don't feel the fear. They are fearless. There's that tousled hair, the look of self-assurance, everything about it. She has captured the youth, the sense of freedom, the extraordinary quality of light. I just couldn't leave it alone. And I think she often uses her own children as models. And I don't know if this is one of her children, but whoever it's a portrait of, I'd have to be having that myself. It really is just exceptional, and captures that moment in youth where we are all fearless and don't know what's ahead, whether that's going down a mountain with the breezes going, or just tackling life in general. But I think she's done an extraordinary job, and I'm proud to give her this award. So congratulations, Nicole. I see a promising future for you, girl.
Well done.
The second award that I'm giving is President's Award to a fellow Master Signature member, is for Kirsten Koken of Colorado. And this is a monumental piece. And I just can't even imagine myself creating something that is so extraordinary and that will catch the attention of and bring in not only the viewer, but the entire region that it is being displayed in. And what a perfect idea to have a monumental bronze of is this idea of triangle. And I think what she was trying to say about this piece was that she wanted to sort of celebrate humanity in general without gender, without class, or without any bias. This is really meant to be something that shows and demonstrates how humanity can work together, which I can't think of a more poignant subject today with what the world seems to be going through than something like this. It creates perfect balance. It is a triangle, but it's also a circle. It's the continuity of it's the movement of the piece, the strength of the piece, and yet the grace as well. So there's nothing forced about it. So real power is never power over. It's always power with. And I think she has demonstrated that really exceptionally well with this monumental bronze. And congratulations, Kirsten. I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Beautiful. So congratulations to both AWA President Award winners. Just lovely choices. Our next category is Outstanding Achievement Awards. 4 awards, $250 in cash plus merchandise. So thank you again for our donors and sponsors. And the categories that were reviewed were still life, landscape, seascape or cityscape, figurative or portraiture, and sculpture. So our first award in still life is from Trish Coonrod, an associate with distinction member who lives in New York. It's called Amaryllis Buds. It's an oil and it's 11 by 14. And it's hard for me to have words. First of all, how is that not a photograph? When you look at every detail that she has captured in every petal, in the bud, every color, every line, and the way the light is playing off each of it, it's just so hard to fathom that isn't sitting right in front of you. And, looking at her bio, she does a lot of floral, she does a lot of fruit. And I love how she talks about she's trying to capture a moment in time before it's too late. Because we know this is not going to stay the way it is for very long, and it will completely change. So the ability to capture that not in a photograph, but in oil, is astounding to me. It's just incredible. And I find it really interesting in her bio. She's the youngest of 10 and has loved to draw since she was young. I just wonder, was that helping you sort of have your own space with 10 brothers and sisters running around? I just find it fascinating, that ability to focus and how that grows. But this piece is incredible. I also learned we share an alma mater, so we went to the same college here in St. Louis. So that was neat to learn as well. But congratulations, Tris. The way you have captured this is astounding to me, and I understand why it was one of the highest scoring pieces in the show and deserves this recognition for still life.
Yeah, exceptional.
The next one was Outstanding Achievement for Landscape, Seascape, or Cityscape. Leanne Whittam, who's an associate with distinction member in New Hampshire. This is called Reclamation. It's an oil and it's 8 by 20. So that's a great size, and so interesting how it translates on the screen from that size. What I love about it is the layers of light, the cloud work that she has done, the way that the water does draw you in a direction. It's not painted as though it's a moving river, but it still is pulling you into that horizon so beautifully. And the colors, again, if you look closely, the way they're represented in both the trees, the area where it's a little bit of a flat area of land and then moving out towards those clouds. She's just created this synergy between it that is so interesting. I don't have a description of why she called it reclamation. When you think about water and reclamation, it's about the reclamation process of making water usable again for the environment, cleaning water. I don't know if this represents a place where that has happened, if that's what it implies, but that could be this thought of the importance of water in the environment and keeping it available for people and plants. I don't know if that's what she intends, but I feel like that message comes through with this, that you want to preserve this in its beauty. So congratulations, Leanne. It's a beautiful piece.
Well, Outstanding Achievement Award for Figurative or Portraiture goes to Shanna Levinson, a signature member from New Mexico, and the piece is called Inner Peace, an 18 by 24, which for what has been put on this canvas, that's a relatively small size to have accomplished what she has here. This was another one of my own personal favorites, and I could just live with this piece all day long. First of all, that superimposed origami bird, which just to me sort of represents this idea that peace is not found outside of yourself but within you. She's holding her heart, and I think that you have these alluding to there's a veil over the head, giving a Madonna-esque kind of a flavor to me, and then there's this portal of this almost imaginary world behind, as if this woman has access to this peace that she can find within herself at any time. And it is a form of meditation, even the very hand gestures. Speaking of the hands, each fingernail is painted differently, which I found extraordinarily fascinating. The lace detail. Shanna has a background with fashion design, and that certainly shows here. I would love her to design clothes for me as well as paint me portraits. She's just a remarkable artist, and this is such a well-deserved piece, so thoughtful and contemplative. And the more I look at it, the more I want to go through the portal and find that inner peace. It's really quite exceptional. Congratulations, Shanna. Beautiful, beautiful piece.
Gorgeous. And our next Outstanding Achievement Award is in sculpture. This is Louise Selecki Ware, and I apologize, I see a typo. Associate with Distinction. She's from British Columbia, Canada. It is entitled Dutch Beauty with Dreadlocks. It is ceramic with oil glazes, 19 by 22 by 13. And when I read a little bit about her inspiration, this was a woman that she first saw dancing with her children. And she was mixed race, part Dutch, part Zimbabwean. And she said she had this free spirit and this love for life and dancing and with her children. And she had her hair wrapped and the dreadlocks. And she used the word captivating, that she was just so captivated by this woman. And so I think you see that what Louise has done here is portray her very regally. And yet, if you look at that gaze, there's this sort of, again, with this idea of peace, calm, and presence, I would say. And when you look at her other works, she does this so well with representing people of all different walks of life and different backgrounds. She did a bit of forensic reconstruction at one point, and I think that helps her portray the way these faces look, and getting the jawline, the nose, the way her eyes are set. You can really tell she studies musculature and skeletons and understands how those all work together. But you take all that and then do it in this color, the ceramic plus the oil glaze, that feels like terracotta in a way. So it feels like it could be very old, but it's this contemporary woman that she found so captivating. And I understand why this would rank so high. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So congratulations to another one of our Canadian members.
Extraordinary piece. Yes, I love it.
And again, congratulations to everyone who was awarded outstanding achievement in these categories. I love seeing them all together. I would love to do an exhibition of all of these. Next, we have a very special award. One of our members, Angela Mia de la Vega, who's a master signature member, is a lovely person. She and her family have given an award both in museum shows and now online in memory of her mother, Kathleen J. Smith. And it's entitled the Humanity and Art Award. And Angela talks about her mom's humanity and looking for the good in people and noticing people and art doing beautiful things in the world. And just they wanted this award to, this is one they choose. They look through and they say which piece represents our mother and who she was. So this is a very important award, and we thank you for this generosity for our members to receive this.
Oh, goody, I get to speak about this piece. This is Kathleen J. Smith Humanity Award, goes to Barbara Mason, an associate with distinction from Texas. And this piece just knocks my socks off. First, I will speak a little bit about this is a pastel, and it's another very large piece. I can only imagine the presence this must have. The graphic quality of it just brings you right into this young girl. Barbara has won for the third time in a row. She's been awarded the Pastel Journal's magazine's top 100 pastelists, so no easy feat right there, and many awards. And she works across the board with florals, as you can see in her head shop down there. She does beautiful work in a variety of subject matter, but this winner just absolutely is so captivating. It conjures the works of Amy Sherald, who did the portrait of Michelle Obama, in that graphic quality. And I just think that not in an imitative way, but just has that same power and grace. It is beyond allegorical. I don't know where to start. Every time I look at it, I could talk about this piece for so long, because I want to know what's going on. The extraordinary strong diagonals that pull you right square into this engaging expression on this young lady's face. There's a melancholy to her. The title would suggest, until we meet again, that someone has passed. And yet I look at these two columns of figures in the background without their heads. They solidify and anchor the piece, and yet that looks like wedding garb to me. So I really don't know whether this is a wedding, a funeral. It's clearly in a church. the minimal palette is extremely striking and contributes to the solidity of the piece, but yet there's this little confetti splash of color on her braids. The seriousness is belied by the fun colors in her braids. And I just, there's so much about this that I want to know more about this story and how she came about painting it, or it's a pastel. That's a drawing skill beyond belief. With a soft pastel is each dust of particle refracts the light. So this just must be exceptional in person, in its strength. You know, the solidifying darks. You know, that's sort of a Manet technique where you just really, boom, you focus in on that subject matter that is just so engaging. So I was very blown away by this piece. It was one of my own top favorites. We all had to fight over who we were giving what to whom, because we all love these exceptional winners, and throughout the show, that's been a theme. So congratulations, Barbara. I can't wait to speak with you more about the meaning behind this exceptional piece. Congratulations.
Our next category, we are awarding a first place to each membership level, which we reviewed earlier. So it's the highest scoring work by the jurors in each of the categories. And so they will receive $1,000 plus some of those wonderful merchandise pieces. So we are ready to move into the first one, which is the associate level. And I get to talk about this. The associate first place award is by Heather Risen. She's of course an associate. She lives in Utah. It's called Shine. It's an oil, and it's also quite large, 48 by 48. So much to say about this. So when I was reading Heather's description of it, it references a song by the same title. And so I listened to the song last night, and it is all about positivity with yourself. And, you know, one of the lines is, you got to talk to yourself like you're in love. And I love that, right? We can, so many of us present in a positive manner at work or out in public, or even with friends and loved ones, but what are we saying on the inside? So I love that idea. So she goes on to talk about, particularly over the last couple of years, how it's been an opportunity for a lot of us to go inward. And what she says, which I find interesting about this piece, is it's about censorship to her, and that she used to play it safe. And she used to not portray everything she wanted to in her art. She paints. She also does lovely sculptures. And this one is this woman who isn't going to hide, isn't going to censor herself. And you can see, even if you look closely, the weight of her shoe sitting on that cushion. And then her back leg a little bit relaxed. She's leaning forward, and her hand is up. And yes, it's this pose of strength, and some might call it defiance, but at the same time, she's so graceful. She doesn't have these hard lines in her bending or her other arm, or even the arm that she's holding up. So it's that mix of softness and strength that I think Heather was really talking about in her description. And of course, the way the light is portrayed, that it draws you to the back, and it's this halo effect behind her. It's just incredible with the layers that she's been able to capture. She says she thinks maybe every painting is a self-portrait of some sort. And so this is sort of that inner person saying, not going to be censored. I'm going to express what I want to express. I'm going to shine. I love that she uses a song as inspiration. I think that's fantastic. And I hope she won't mind me mentioning, but in one of the interviews I watched with her, she happened to mention that she lost the sight in her right eye. And I'm thinking it was around 2015, if I'm right, looking at the dates. And she talked so eloquently about how that also made her go inside and really look deeply at her own thoughts and desires and where she wanted to go. And ultimately, she saw it as a gift for herself and in her art making. And I'm not sure that a lot of us would be able to say that as easily as she seemed to. So I really respect that sort of embodies everything into this painting. And of course, our jurors didn't know any of that looking at this painting. So they're just responding to what they see, which is this woman that is strength and grace. But when you know that meaning behind it, just incredible, Heather. So congratulations.
Beautiful.
Next, we have our associate with distinction. So this is the first place winner for that membership category.
Oh, I love talking about this one. The first place winner for associate with distinction is Tracy Anderson from Michigan. And this is called Safe Haven. And what a perfect title for such a sweet, endearing, lovely, lovely piece. I love the way the hands form a heart and the tenderness with which it looks to me to be baby squirrels. I don't see a stripe, so probably not chipmunkies. But the little paw on the other one's face, the tenderness all the way around, the gentleness with which they're being held. But these are clearly working hands. I notice there's dirt under the thumbnail. So this is a person that is in harmony with the land. Scratchboard is a very, very difficult medium. It's a combination of carving and drawing skills. And so you're taking this dark background and you're pulling it off with a tool to create this extraordinary image. And I think she's done it's a small piece really to get this much detail and feeling in a piece so small. I was so impressed with that. And the pieces that tend to rise to the top not only have this exceptional quality of skill, but they make you feel. And this piece just yanks at your heartstrings the very moment you look at it. You just want to go, oh, they're so adorable babies, and they're safe and they're happy. It is a safe haven. And so lovely blending of the two communities, humans and animal kingdom. Beautifully done. She does a lot of extraordinary animal work and birds. And we were so very impressed with her website and her skill level. So these associate with distinction levels are just showing tremendous promise and futures for AWA. We're excited. Congratulations, Tracy.
Next, we have our first place for the signature members.
Oh, goody. I get to talk about this. Okay, so this is Lynette Cook is our signature member winning the first place award from California. And the piece is called Yin Yang. I would like to mention that Lynette was our grand prize winner for the Lifting the Sky show last year with her painting. So she's no stranger to awards and skill level. And so congratulations on another top prize here, Lynette. You were making us proud and validating our good taste and choices and selecting you. Yin Yang is obviously the concept of opposites being in balance. And she's portrayed that so beautifully here with this. This is an actual place that she lives in San Francisco and oftentimes will do the Bay Area. This looks to be Chinatown to me. She did not specifically say in her write-up about the piece, but I see the roof line on the left side is kind of echoed in the colors that are Asian in their influence. On the right side, you have all of this detail and activity going on, almost congestion on the left, and yet it's simple on the right. And what marries the two are these extraordinary shadows with the strong diagonals that bring you right across and marry the two together. It is a diptych. And she said that the space between the two buildings was a perfect place to divide the canvases. So 30 by 60, again, that's a tremendous presence when you must be standing in front of this. But it certainly personifies the very idea of balance in every way, whether that's color harmonies or whether that's the shadow work and the simple against the detailed is perfect balance in the composition, and she's masterful at doing it. And I feel as if I could just fall into these paintings. I want to climb up the fire escape and look in the window. The window has what looks like a very patterned quilt. There's just enough detail that pulls you in that you want to see more, and they're just exceptional in their presentation. Beautiful job yet again, Lynette. We're proud of you. Congratulations on another major award.
Last but not least, we have our first place for master signature level. And I'm pleased to announce that for this show, the first place master signature award goes to Sandy Delahunty, who is from California. It's entitled Old Gold. It's a watercolor, 24 by 18. And so much to say about this beautiful work. She talks about the fact that this is a very well-known tree in Yosemite. So those of you that have been to Yosemite maybe have seen it. She chose to paint it in autumn, and we can see why. It's gold in all its glory. I love, having lived in the West for so long, this time of year where you're seeing autumn in front of you, but you're already seeing some snow on a mountain behind you. And it's just this lovely mix of the colors and the temperatures. And I think she's captured that so well, where you can feel autumn and the changes, and then you have that hint of winter coming. The way that she balances color is extraordinary. And those of you that know Sandy, she has been in so many juried shows, dozens. I think maybe it's even over 60 juried shows. She's had so many solo shows in galleries. She tells great stories. She's a traveler. Last year she was in France on a watercolor journey and shared those experiences with us. So she never stops observing and learning. Something I found really interesting with this piece, which the jurors don't know either when they're looking at it. It just said watercolor. She used a masking and pouring technique rather than brushes. So if you can imagine, and if you look at this a little bit bigger, you can kind of see where, yes, it looks realistic, but if you look closely, you're seeing these dots that are pulling this together, and these different lines that are bringing it in. So without that control of a brush, it makes it all the more extraordinary to me to be able to do that, particularly with watercolor, which we've mentioned so many times is unforgiving. So congratulations, Sandy. And thank you again. Sandy's a board member, and many of the other merchandise awards that we're giving away are because of her hard work. So thank you so much, and congratulations on being recognized for your artwork as well.
Yes.
So there we have it, the first place for each of the membership categories, and just beautiful together.
You should make banners of each of these.
Yes, I know, it's so hard to not have them in front of you.
Yes.
So the next category, we're very fortunate for this show to have a partnership with Fine Art Connoisseur, who many of the magazines are so generous with us for each show. We are able to award 2 awards that have $1,000 value each. One is to be a featured artwork on fineartconnoisseur.com, which is lovely. It stays on their website, you get found. And the other one, same thing, it's the Fine Art Today newsletter that goes out, thousands and thousands of subscribers. And it's an artist spotlight award. So you get a profile about you and your art. And again, you live on the web and you are searchable. So it's nice to be able to award these 2 as well. And thanks again to Fine Art Connoisseur for these.
Well, the first award for the Featured Artwork Award from Fine Art Connoisseur goes to Megan Cedar, Associate with Distinction from California, with this lovely serene piece called Jeanette. And note that this is colored pencil to get this kind of luscious color and detail with painting that's not a painting, that is done with just drawing technique. Is just really quite remarkable. A special thank you to Fine Art Connoisseur. I've used both of these platforms, and they do draw traffic to your website, the likes of which you can never do on your own. So these are lovely awards, and this is just a perfect piece to be chosen for that lovely honor. I think the part of the drawing that stands out is the reflected light on the vase. She has the subtle color in almost a rainbow underneath what looks to be a reflection of a window. And it just so very believable. And of course, the tulip blossom, you would think that, that red, of course, draws you right in, but your eye is, drawn around in the circle of the composition. You just go around and around and around. The simplicity of the background, the simple, understated elegance of the entire piece is just less is more in this case. Certainly, that little tiny bit of light that spills just over the edge of the turned tabletop, the reflected light from the color of the blossom, everything about it, the translucency of the blossom itself, I can feel the weight of it, and she's just done an exceptional job, as she does with all of her works, and very well deserved, and just cannot stop looking at it. And one of the more traditional award winners today. And for those artists that don't realize that it really is across the board. The cream rises to the top, and whatever your style or medium, they just have a way of shining, and they jump right out at you. And this is a top scored piece, and very, very well chosen. Lovely. Congratulations. Incredible. Well, this one, I love this piece. This is the Spotlight Award for Nadine Robbins, who is a signature member from New York, and this piece is called Cara. And after reading her write-up, Cara is her hairdresser. And of course, if I were a hairdresser, I would have aqua hair as well. And the engaging look, of course, she is confident, and yet there is, Nadine mentioned, a slight melancholy about her. So she is pensive as well. This is an extraordinary example of one of the checklist things that artists always look for when they're trying to decide whether a piece has all of the qualities that are award-winning, is color harmonies. And these blue and orange tones, with a slight bit of fuchsia for the lips accent, is exceptional. And this is one of the reasons the piece just absolutely sings. It's a 24 square. It is a study in color, I believe. The way she's even done the sclera of the eyes in that lovely aqua, and it works. There's nothing about it that feels garish. It just blends and sings together. And I think that this is one of the things that Nadine really has a way of bringing forward in all of her portraits. They are contemporary in their strength of portrayal of women in particular. I think she goes for these bold subject matter. I don't know if you can see on her t-shirt, it says the force is feminine or female, when the force is female. And we just love this wonderful picture of her with her attitude and her ability to go for the gusto with these portraits that are very brave, and yet there's a tenderness to it as well. You see the vulnerability in this woman who says, I'm going to go with blue hair because I can. And so I think that she's just done an exceptional job, and very well deserved for this Spotlight Award. I think she's going to get great traffic and reaction because of this. Congratulations, Nadine.
Congrats to both of our publisher awards, and thank you again to Fine Art Connoisseur. They look fantastic together.
They do. Color harmonies.
Okay, so our last category are the overall awards, which means these were the highest scores as ranked by the jurors, without regard to what membership level, what media, what subject matter, just the highest scores in general. So this is very exciting. So for third prize overall, the winner will receive $1,500, some of our merchandise gifts, as well as a half-page ad in Fine Art Connoisseur. So thank you again. It's such a lovely partnership we have with them. So I'm very excited to share third place overall. And it is Kristen Salai, Associate with Distinction from Virginia. It's entitled Life. It's an oil, 21.5 by 37. Now, again, How is that not a photograph when we're looking at an oil painting? But what I love about this, there's so many things. So when you read her bio and learn about her work, this is a common theme for her. It's a major theme for her to look at nostalgic foods. So snacks we ate, snacks we still eat, and that bring up this sort of comfort and idea of nostalgia that take us all back to some memory, right? So she does this. If you look at her website, it's cookies and donuts and pies and all sorts of incredible things. And life rose to the top for the jurors. First of all, for the technicality of it, the color, the representation of the realism of this is incredible. From the foil to the wrapper to the colors of the actual lifesavers, those 5 flavors that we all know and love. So, I mean, technically it's incredible. I would love to see it. She talks about it. She does these in sort of this exaggerated larger size, these things that we're used to seeing smaller, which draws you even more negative space, and you just are in that memory, which I love. But you can also kind of look at this and, the wrapper's torn right at the word life, right? And you can think about that. The savor part is gone. You could go there. You could look at this rainbow of colors. You could think about life and all of its colors and the diversity that we're thinking about in life. There's so many ways to interpret this. It can make you really happy to just look at it. And it can just make you need to go get some lifesavers, but then it can also make you, think about the memories that might be associated with it. And so I just love that theory of kind of taking something you might take for granted, turning it into this thing of beauty in an unexpected way. She references people like Oldenburg, where you're taking this realistic piece, but blowing it up and allowing people to think about it in a different way. And I love the concept. So that niche that she has carved out is really spectacular. So take a look at her website and see some of those other ones as well. I understand why this was 3rd place over all of the entries. So congratulations, Kristen. Next, we have the overall 2nd prize. And this winner will receive $1,750 and some merchandise, and also a half-page ad in Fine Art Connoisseur.
Oh yes, 2nd prize overall is going to Irina Roman, an associate with distinction from Massachusetts, for this piece called Carol. It's a transparent watercolor in 21 by 33. For anyone who's ever tried to work in watercolor, as I said before, it is just an unforgiving, very difficult medium to accomplish this translucency. And where do I begin? This is just another favorite of mine. I will begin with the technical qualities of the piece. The compositional point of view is you're looking up at this subject, which gives the woman more prominence. She is important. She has a clipboard in her hand, and she has confidence and value and leadership just by the pose alone, just by the viewpoint where you're looking up at her. That's a technique that people that want to be in charge will often use. They will sit at the prominent place, and this woman has clearly learned that. She knows how to do it. The solidity of the black table, the reflection in the teacup. I want to read the titles on her books. I want to know what she's reading. The allegorical component of this is she's looking off as if she's thinking about, what am I going to write? This woman looks like she's a teacher to me. Irina is a professor, so I think that if this woman is a teacher, she's been able to conjure that particular personality trait, because I would never cross this teacher if she said to me, "You sit and be quiet." We all would. And so an educator for sure. Carol is this, surrounded with her books, her tea, her thoughts, the reflections in her glasses. I just don't even, my eye goes all around this piece, the wicker, everything about it, the legs that create this vertical attraction that pulls you right back up into her face. Oftentimes that's done with diagonals. Her arms will do this, of course, but you know, these pillars of the legs and the tabletop together, you sort of anchor the piece. And you know, the pattern in the background does not compete, but just adds to the harmony in color between the skin tones of these warm tones against the blues. Just an exceptional piece. It is not at all a surprise that this is such a top scoring piece. Congratulations, Irina. I think you've done an exceptional job. I would like to meet Carol, and I would bet she would just emanate this confidence and respect that she just commands so beautifully. It even translates in this piece. So I think you've done a beautiful job and very well deserved.
Okay, drum roll.
Drum roll.
The final award for today is the overall grand prize. This winner will receive $2,500 and a half-page ad in Fine Art Connoisseur, and some of our merchandise as well. So we're very happy to award it. We're both going to talk about this one a little bit. I will announce it and kick us off, and then I will let Christine finish us out with the conversation about this piece. Before I reveal it, I think I will let you know that this piece received a perfect score from every juror. Unanimously, a perfect score. No other work in the show received that. And I have rarely seen that in my experience in jurying, where it's a perfect score, first of all, and then unanimously by each juror. So there was no doubt clearly for this one. So our winner for this year, for 2022 Spring Online, is Cher Pruist, who is an associate member from Canada. It is entitled In Retrospect. It's an acrylic and it's 12 by 8. And I will do my part, and then, but I could talk about this all day. So when you see this again, the fact that it looks like we are sitting with this woman, or it's a photograph of her, you don't immediately feel like this is a painting, that you're in this scene, is how I feel. And every detail that, as you keep looking at it and looking at it, from the patterns in her regional clothes, from every line on her face perfectly placed, the expression, this retrospect, we don't know if that's positive, negative, a mix. By the time you reach this stage in life, it's a little bit of both. And what she could be really trying to focus on. She mentions it's a woman in the Congo, and she's representing that beautiful appearance and color of her clothing against that, just this green, semi-neutral kind of background. And so she just jumps out at you even more. What I find interesting in Cher's bio is she didn't pick up a paintbrush until she was 35. And she's self-taught, and she had done charcoal, ink, and some pencil, which I think comes through. So she has this sensitivity in technique to very fine detail, very fine lines, and the precision that comes with those. But I will just say this one jumped out at me the second that I saw it as well. So I completely understand why the jurors, and again, coming from such diverse backgrounds, would all zero in on this piece as their top pick. So Christine, I'm sure you have a lot to add.
I do. She was also one of my top picks. As I say, we all had to fight to claim whatever we could that that was getting recognition. And this, of course, is just a gem. It's a little gem. It's 12 by 8. So if you can imagine this kind of impact with such a small painting comparatively. She has the color harmonies, of course, technically are the reds are very, of course, catch your eye, but they're perfectly balanced against, as Sandra mentioned, the neutral background. Again, I look for pieces that will grab you because of the way you feel about them. And this woman definitely makes you feel. There is a regalness to her forbearance. She's confident. In retrospect, as Sandra mentioned, we don't know if she's happy or sad about what she's thinking about, but she has this inner calm, almost a sense of royalty to her. There is, she's untroubled by her expression. Whatever has come or is coming, she's ready for it. There's just a regal quality to her, and a peacefulness that I get, you know, with the difficulties that we're facing as a world. This woman has sort of seen it all. And I can hear her saying, yes, child, you're going to get through this. We've got this, and we'll do this together. And I just, whatever she's thinking about, I just feel this sense of peace and calm, which comes over me. She's confident in these brilliant colors she's wearing. And yet there's nothing showy about her. She's just got that amazing, almost royal forbearance, as I said. And I just think she did an extraordinary job of painting peace and dignity wrapped up in one small woman. It's just really an outstanding piece. It just makes us all in AWA so proud of this skill and talent that you will carry this crown, Cher, as that unanimous award winner. I think everyone that looks at this show is going to be unanimously blown away. She really just has remarkable presence, and congratulations from the bottom of my heart. We're in awe of this piece. She's lovely.
So congratulations to everyone. You saw the 20 awards that we gave today, but there are 136 incredible pieces. So if you haven't gone to the website to see all of them, please do. There are stories, like we said, behind every one of these and behind every entry. So we're so grateful for the members that enter each of these shows. It's a difficult process, and we're so proud of everybody. So we do hope you enjoy the show, seeing all of them online. Congratulations again to everybody who participated. And before we go, I will let you know our next 25 and 25 is happening next year at Brook Green Gardens in South Carolina, which is an incredible place known both for its gardens as well as its museum, and it's known for sculpture in particularly, but they also display incredible 2D works. So we're very excited, and we, God willing, will be meeting in person, which we were not able to do. And artist applications, for those of you that are artists, either current members or want to be members with us, that starts in November. And you can find out more on our website. So we thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it, and congratulations again to everybody.
Yes, truthfully. Everyone that entered this show, we feel is a winner. This was a very hard cut. It's always a hard cut, and everyone wants it very badly. And so to compete against your peers for these few spots is really all, you're already winners. Everyone that is a player is a winner, and we just support all of you, and we link arms with you, and we like to go forward with just a wonderful, promising future with women being celebrated and inspired by the organization. So congratulations to all of the artists that were a part of it, and thank you to our sponsors for making it possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody. Take care.